A boiling hot July evening in Fresno, California for the first ever matchup between the Central Valley Fuego and the Richmond Kickers here on ESPN+. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm really excited for this game because who knows what we've got in store for us here. Central Valley, Richmond, never matched up. It's an entirely new concoction of two styles of play as we look at where they stand in USL League One table. Central Valley in 8th place. They've been all up and down the standings this season, hot and cold. If a win could get them all the way up to 3rd place, hopping Madison in the goal differential category. Meanwhile, Richmond, of course, lodged in 2nd place. Had a chance to take over Greenville last weekend, couldn't get it done, but they'll be looking to get past Ophik Antman here tonight. The problem with that, though, is Ophik Antman, in my opinion, has been the best keeper in the league this season. He's been challenged, he's been tested, and he has proven to be a dynamic shot stopper throughout the year. I mean, we can go through an entire highlight package that could go on for like 10 minutes with all the saves, the stops he's made. He could dive, he could throw himself around, he makes the stops, but his hands will be full tonight with the arsenal that the Richmond Kickers have at their disposal, because it's not just about Emiliano Terzaghi anymore. You look at those stats over there. In the past, Terzaghi, these past 2 years to be exact, he almost accounts for half of Richmond's goals, but this year, despite scoring 7 goals, doesn't even account for 25% of them. So there are a lot of weapons that the Richmond Kickers have at their disposal now, whether it be new additions or guys who have just gotten it to click and figure out in the Darren Sawatsky system and could prove to be beneficial today when they test up against Ophik Antman. Well, this should be a fun one today, folks. We got lineups and kickoff coming up next on ESPN+. It's the Fuego and it's the Richmond Kickers. You're not going to want to miss it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Trying to take down their rival. The legend has done it again here in Sacramento. He's turned the whole game around.
It's a goal for Orange County SC and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
As we take you back to Fresno, California for the first ever matchup between the Richmond Kickers and Central Valley Fuego. Welcome back to the broadcast here on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster. As these two teams get ready to do battle, we're going to take a look at the lineups as Central Valley Fuego look to bring the heat in what is nearly 100-degree weather in California right now. They're going to roll out with the exact same 11 that they came out with against the Northern Colorado Hailstorm. A gritty win, and Martin Vasquez said that these players earned it. So here we go. A chance for them to show it off again. But one player we got to highlight is Victor Falk here. Last 2 seasons, he played for the Richmond Kickers. He's excited to go up against his former team, has a good relationship with a lot of the coaches. We'll dive into what he said in particular during the broadcast here. But the fact of the matter is, he'll be a player to look out for. He's been so reliable for Central Valley this season. And someone that is looking to be a new key piece to this Richmond kicker side is Ethan Vanacore-Decker. It's the first time we've really had a massive mid-season trade in USL League One. Coming over from the Northern Colorado Hailstorm, Darren Sawatsky's been keen on him, and he's going to start up top in the formation, looking to pair up with Terzaghi and Bentley. Well, talk about getting thrown into the fire, no pun intended, with just getting on board, and will look to leave an impact. And someone who will look to assist him in that regard is Ethan Bryant, provide him some good services, help Ethan Vanacore-Decker get the job done, get some good looks in the attacking third, and make things happen and score against the talented Ofek Antman. Needless to say, some fun things to keep an eye out for, both on the home side and the visiting side. Our head official for today's match is Adrian Gonzalez. Central Valley donning those awesome horizontally striped kits. Richmond in their red, white, and blue away kits, also very nice. You can hear the drumming. The Fuego faithful are here in throws. A lot of the key pieces that were missing from Central Valley in that Northern Colorado game, they're here now. They're just going to start on the bench. Again, a reward for a gritty win last time out means that the same starting 11 will get the starting nod here from Martin Vasquez. And we're underway in the first ever meeting between Central Valley and Richmond. And it's Terzaghi immediately, benefactor of a poor touch. Diego Casillas goes down, drawing the foul from the Argentine. There you have it. Immediately earning the whistle from our head official. Emiliano Terzaghi, we talked about him, or the lack of him carrying the team in the open. Still has 7 goals, so yeah, I'm sure he's still priority number 1 on the defensive end for Central Valley. Middle of the table, still very much in flux. Richmond trying to keep away from that madness and keep up with the Greenville Triumph, who drew earlier today with Union Omaha, who I would imagine will also be vying for one of those top 2 spots, let alone the top spot at the end of the season. Anytime those 2 teams are drawing is a chance for Richmond to claw some points back or claw some points ahead, however you want to look at it. Given Omaha's lack of games played, they sit behind Richmond, but in points per game, it'd be a different story. I mentioned it already a couple times already, a 1-0 victory over Northern Colorado. It's over a week ago. They didn't play on the weekend, Central Valley. They were sitting at like 3rd or 4th place after that 1-0 victory, and then had to watch other teams pass them. But I think they could be happy. They got a little bit of rest, and they can be ready for this big game today. It also meant they hit that halfway point in the season, and they currently sit at 5-5-5. So there's a lot of different ways you could interpret a season like that. Martin Vasquez said that the game against Colorado was big for many reasons, because we were running on a 2-game losing streak. We were missing several key guys. There was lots of tight travel, and Northern Colorado beat us 4-1 last time we met. So we were going to find out what kind of team we were when we went in to play them at Canvas Stadium. And he was very proud of their toughness. And the result was a great way to go into a brief mid-season break. So definitely positive from Martin Vasquez. A stoppage time goal from Christian Cheney. Maybe really changing the narrative moving forward for this Fuego side. And then there's Darren Sawatsky on the other side of things. Can't be as happy about his last result, losing 3-1 at home against Greenville. And he said Put it simply, they were better than us. He said, though it was a bit of an anomaly day with the, I wouldn't say freak injury incident, but unlucky injury incident right before the game started with Jonathan Bolaños, who is not in the 18 today. As that whistle blows, and we'll put that one to bed. Notice that the stands are empty behind the goal, which is irregular for the Fuego fans, and you see here, they're working on construction over there, so they've just been siphoned over to the near side from our camera perspective. As you see, pretty close to being done. They're gonna kick back up on construction on Monday. They'll be ready to go here soon, just adding more stands. Of course, Fresno State, the hosting university of the stadium, the lovely benefactors of this construction. Service comes inside, nodded away. Here's Sharif J. Now's Casillas making his way forward. That combination between him and Jay wasn't quite enough. Richmond will recollect it. Talking about Greenville, Darren Sawatsky said we knew what they were going to do, and Labovitz scored 3 good goals. But as great as they were all preventable. That's how he felt. He said it's the type of game you hold on to for motivation the next time you play them. And he called the injury from Bolaños a fluke injury. He said it's just really unlucky because Bolaños has been playing really, really well. Can't catch a break. Here's an opportunity pushing forward for Central Valley. Have a loose touch there, though. David Diaz has been so bright. Young budding player for Central Valley, just touching it too far ahead of himself. There's Martin Vasquez, watching keenly. That one looks to go out for a goal kick. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL League One. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. Dakota Barnathan beelining it forward. Good moves made there. Help keep it progressing forward for Central Valley until that pass. Luckily, the effort from Jesus Bartita able to knock it out of the clutches of Richmond before they can push forward on a counterattack. Here's Jay. Galloping along, squares it. Cleared out by Ani. Casillas, second service. Still in play. Cleared away by Stephen Payne. Now Ozzy Ramos. Thought about cutting to his right and ended up backing out of that one. There's Ethan Vanacore-Decker donning number 19. If you're a Richmond fan, I'm sure you already plucked him out already by seeing the unfamiliar number. We'll see how he moves, how he interacts. Hasn't even been with the team for a week, so chemistry is obviously not going to be there yet, but he's such a talented player. That cross comes in and is pinged away. Could certainly still have an impact on this game regardless. Richmond taking their time to get over there and reset play. Ethan Bryant. First corner of the night. Dipping service comes down. Looked too high, but it fell so nicely to Nathan Awney. Here's Brian again. Jostling it for the cross comes in and into the hands of Ofik Antman, Israeli keeper. There he is. From Haifa to be precise. And here come Central Valley on the other side. Nathan Awney deflecting that one out of play. It'll be the first corner kick for the home side. Being shorthanded was tough for us as we get this El Mexicano corner kick. Martin Vasquez said the way we played wasn't always pretty in that Northern Colorado game, but we created some chances. They created some chances that required some great saves from Ofik Antman. And there's Victor Falk looking to serve up a good corner kick against his former team. Let's see what he can do. Ball comes in, dips down, headed away. Nel Vinyals clips his boot on it. That one's well brought down by Jay, but it's jostled back by Vinyals. Some physicality being displayed here on both sides of the ball. It'll be a Richmond free kick. So I mentioned earlier that got the opportunity to hear from Victor Falk about playing against his former team, and he said it's exciting for sure. He played there for 2 years, and he said, I developed some close bonds with many players and staff within the club, so it'll be great to see them, battle with them against them on the field. He mentioned he's been impressed with their growth going into the season. He thinks it could be a good game. And both teams have a good opportunity to get 3 points. And then talking about his side, he said, if we continue with our resilient performance like against Colorado and string together a few more plays offensively, we'll be in a good shape to win the game. I think this is one of those situations where there isn't a lot of ill will. It's just a respect for the place you've been. You still love a lot of the guys there. And then you feel motivated to go out and show them what you got, what you've been learning. You talked about that Northern Colorado game. Martin Vasquez was very happy in that match because they gave up 18 shots against Greenville, which was their match prior to that. Only gave up 5 in that game against the Hailstorm. He called it a crazy game, but we defended for our lives. It was ugly, but we did it. Here's Ethan Vanacore-Decker chipping it across. Ethan Bryant trying to acrobatically deflect that back in, and then we're going to get a handball from Zaka Moran. Another look at Darren Sawatsky. You know, his commitment to the all-black outfit is impressive to me given just how hot it is over there in Fresno. You have my respect. He was talking to us about the travel schedule for them in these upcoming days. He said every year you look at the schedule and sometimes scratch your head at certain spots. No whistle blown there by Adrian Gonzalez. Sawatsky was giving us a little bit of his itinerary, and he said, we've got a fly to Fresno just to turn around and fly to North Carolina on Wednesday. And then we fly back across to Northern Colorado for a game on Tuesday the next week. And then you turn around and fly back home. I hope they're signed up for a rewards program. They are getting in those air miles. Back and forth to start this one early. Both sides have made some runs. Nothing of utmost danger yet, though. Got some USL League One After Dark fireworks over in Tucson right now. 4 goals in the first half. It's Tucson and the Charlotte Independence going at it. I think it's halftime. Good crowd here today. Bringing the chanting and the energy early. Not going to let the heat sway them from staying home and tuning in on ESPN+. That's an easy whistle. We may even get a card here, and we will. So Stephen Payne with the push in the back. Here's a look at it again. David Diaz making the run. Payne will collect his 5th yellow card of the season. Could end up being a promising free kick spot for Central Valley. Let's see what they can whip up here. It's Falk and Ramos. Falk with the shot off the crossbar, followed up and through. And it's Central Valley up top. Did it cross the line for the former kicker? One way or another, a fantastic strike. And a 1-goal lead for the home side. I think that went in, but Jay made sure it did. What a take. What a strike from Victor Falk, his 3rd goal of the season. I think that for sure went across the line. The former kicker blasting one. His 3rd goal of the season. The Swedish striker. And his story for how he got to where he is now is fascinating. Went to UVA to start, which isn't too far from Richmond. Then he went all the way across the country to UC Irvine, which is a lot closer to Fresno. And then he lived in Virginia Beach, drove 100 miles to practice with Richmond United, play games with them. That's a long trek to play for a club in Richmond if you're living in Virginia Beach. Ended up getting the spot with the Richmond Kickers, and now here he is, back across to California, scoring a goal against the Richmond Kickers at home. I mean, that's just the guy you want to root for. He's put in the blood, the sweat, the tears, all of the cliches. He's earned that. Now we'll have to see if the Richmond Kickers can find a response. So we'll go out for a goal kick for Ofek Antman. Martin Vasquez said about Richmond, if we are disciplined and shut down their game changers, we'll get 3 points. He mentioned we've got some guys coming back with fresh legs, so we need to play with a sense of urgency. I think you can check that box, scoring a goal in the first 20 minutes of the game. I mentioned Darren Sawatsky is a good coach, but this one's about us. We've got another yellow card here. And that's to Stephen Payne. So that's going to be it. I don't want to see this again. Stephen Payne's gone. This has gone from bad to worse for Richmond. Let's take a look at this again. Oh, he's just late. The ball's nowhere to be seen. Ultimately, a tough break for Richmond. And now they're down a man, down a goal. Not good. I mean, that's all you could say. A well-thrown punch from Victor Falk, and then that one straight to the gut. Service comes inside Akira Fitzgerald. He's able to clutch that one. Wow. Bentley and Richmond need to keep their cool now. Definitely a push there on Casillas. So we've had 2 yellow cards in this game total. And now there's a man down. First 20 minutes of the game. How wild is that? Sometimes we've seen straight reds come early in the game, but 2 yellows in the first 20 minutes is astounding. And here's foul. Oh, he plays that one behind Diaz. Had a weird spin on it. And he knew he missed a chance. There's our goal scorer, former kicker. We're gonna get a substitution here. Surely this man disadvantage for Richmond, that changes your game plan. So coming into the game is Simon Fitch. He's gonna come in for Terzaghi. So take out a striker, put in a defender. I mean, Stephen Payne was a defender, so you're already down a goal, down a man. Got to get some reinforcements. So Fitch comes in, the Richmond native. This substitution brought to you by Dos Equis. Sure, this isn't the situation that Fitch would have anticipated being subbed in, but see if he can help shore things up defensively. Here's a chance, turning around. Ethan Vanacore-Decker. It's a backup from Sharif J. Springs the counterattack for the Fuego. There's Diaz. Still going. That's an excellent tackle from the substitute. In and getting himself acclimated quickly, Simon Fitch. Well, we've seen it from the Central Valley side in these opening 25 minutes, and I'm sure it's only increased since getting the goal, getting the man advantage. But Martin Vasquez said that they're excited. He said, we got going early on Monday. He mentioned the vibes were good. High energy, great win last time they were out. Got a big game coming up against Richmond. They're looking forward to playing at home again. Martin Vasquez said they'll be ready, and our mission is to win a second game in a row. If you told him that 25 minutes from the game they'd be up a goal and up a player, I'm sure he'd go, all right, yeah, that's fantastic. Still got to see it through. This is a feisty Richmond team. Flag is going to go up. I think he's calling it for going off the hand of Bustamante. I'm getting confirmation it was, in fact, came off his hand, his arm. Even though I had the proper vantage point, couldn't be certain. Good catch. Also a good catch. There you go. Don't need to be a hired ball boy to get the job done. The reigning title holders visit in-state rivals as the USL on ESPN2 continues. Orange County SC looks for a late season surge against Sacramento Republic FC. September 18th at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. An early showing for those of you on the West Coast. Of course, that's where the game's taking place. Exactly the opposite of what Richmond were looking to do coming into this game. Darren Sawatsky said that we want to play disciplined. We don't want to let the game wide open. But the fact of the matter is there's going to be space now. That's just an unavoidable truth of this game going forward. He said we like to punch above our weight, though. They have a stacked roster. Talking about the Fuego. He says, but I think we've built a great team. He said it'll take collective defending, and we need to force them to beat us with talent. And to his credit, that was a talented strike from Victor Falk. So if you're going to go down that way, then all right, you just take it. But now they have to keep it from getting even wider open as this shot flies off the mark. Look from Zachamaran. He's got a boot on him. He's proven he can strike from beyond the 18. Hasn't scored yet this season in league play. Check that out, 2-2 at halftime between the Jacks and Tucson. It's a big game for both those teams, both trying to stay in the thick of it, Tucson in particular. Here's a cross in the middle. No one's there for it, at least not where the ball landed. Mentioned earlier, 0-0 draw between Greenville and Omaha. Those are two teams that you would anticipate are vying for those top two spots at the end of the season. Richmond, another team in that conversation. These are important games when you know that your rivals at the top of the table aren't collecting 3 points. Of course, now I think best case scenario for Richmond, it's stealing a point here on the road. We've seen wilder things happen though, so I'm not gonna take anything off the table. I know better than that. Vignals ever light on his feet. O'Brien, some good moves. It's going to take some individual moments from this Richmond side to score a goal and make something happen. It's going to take beating a player, getting someone to bite. Or just pulling off a magnificent shot. You have the window of opportunity. Or perhaps something on a set piece. Well, there you have it. Free kick, set piece chance for Richmond. Courtesy of the whistle of Adrian Gonzalez. So I'm sure they're not ready to thank him just yet, given the fact they're already down a man. Here's a look at it again on the replay. Sergio Chavez coming in and checking his opposition. So it's Bentley and Vignals who are sitting behind the ball, looking to provide the best service they can come up with. Big-bodied Nathan Ani there waiting for it, as well as the rest of the Richmond core of strikers and attacking players. Bentley, too high. Gonna need more than that. The Englishman looking to put one on frame there. Couldn't get it done. Has 5 goals this season. You talk about contributors outside of Emiliano Terzaghi, he's one of them. And they're without Terzaghi for the rest of this game. Here's Jay. Cutting inside. Some light moves, but Nathan Ani up for the task and wins the goal kick for the Kickers. Ani's 14th appearance, 13th start of the season. This one given right back, only for it to be given right back. So we're 30 minutes through this one. Maybe if you're checking in on this one while Tucson and Charlotte are sitting in at halftime, fact of the matter is we've had 1 goal, 2 yellow cards, and those 2 yellow cards happen to be issued to the same player in the first 20 minutes of the game. A disastrous start to this one for the Richmond Kickers. Here's Ethan Bryant. Slicing, crossing, and Antman collecting. They are quick to spring forward, dashing down the pitch. Casillas. Playing in that back line today, typically a more forward-thinking player, but he's capable of slipping into that right back spot, especially with the absence of Francois Dulis, or as they call him, Frankie. Really one of the key pieces on that back line for Central Valley. We'll be missing him, but they're happy with what Casillas can do. Proving how flexible of a player he is. Certainly not one-dimensional. Can't say that about him. We get another corner kick brought to you by El Mexicano. And our goal scorer, Victor Falk, will take it over to the corner. Look to set up nicely. Already has 2 assists on the season. I'm sure he'd love to not only notch a goal, but an assist against his former side. Diaz trying to serve it back in on a single touch. unable to reach anybody's feet or head. A couple fans who got the best seat in the house for that goal. Spot a Fresno jersey from the USL Championship days. Last club that was here before Central Valley Fuego. Staying loyal to the local club. Talking about home field, Martin Vasquez said it's clear how important getting 3 points at home every chance we get is. It's easy to drop points at home, and we did that during the little undefeated streak they had earlier in the year, where they could have gotten 3 points, they could see the goal late, and suddenly now they just get 1. He said, our guys get it now. They're hungry, they've been humbled in the past, so they're ready to do it in front of their home fans. And how about this showcase thus far? Bustamante boots this over to the left side. That's a good looking cross. The header comes down and make it a second goal for Central Valley. Is it Victor Falk again? There was a sea of heads around. We'll dive into it on a replay here in a moment. But if it's Victor Falk, I don't know who it was. Here's a chance to determine it. That looks like it was the collision of Falk and Sharif J. But the way it comes off the head, the trajectory makes more sense for Falk. I think that's Victor Falk. The Swede with a second goal in this game. Again, against his former club. He's just doubled his goal tally on the season. He's been ready to show up against this side. What an evening for him. From Landvetter, Sweden. Really, his soccer career has taken place in 2 places. I mentioned the story earlier. California and Virginia. He's gone back and forth. Richmond United, Richmond Kickers, UVA, UC Irvine, where he had 59 appearances, 4 goals, 7 assists. He was All Big West his senior year on the All Big West team. Wow. I'd like to bring up, he's already scored more goals against Richmond than he scored for Richmond. He had a goal and an assist in his 2 years, but I mean, that wasn't really his role in Richmond, though. But he has come in and brought the quality. Vignals trying to slip it forward for Ethan Vanacore Decker. Richie gets that one deflected off of Casillas. And out it goes. It'll be a Richmond corner kick. So we've been crunching the numbers for you here behind the scenes. This red card that happened in the 19th minute to Stephen Payne, the 25th to happen in League One history. In the first half, to be precise. Just 25 red cards in the first half in League One history. Third time it's happened to Richmond in particular in their 4-season span here in USL League One. So a rare occurrence, even rarer with how early it occurred. There's Ethan Vanacore-Decker, all by himself. Finds Vignoles. Now Bryant. Some tight passing. Lays it off to Richie. Richie shoots. Well challenged. Here's a shot. A look from Ethan Vanacore-Decker. If you can get one back for Richmond, then, especially if before the first half break, then it wouldn't be all out of question. As it stands right now, though, it's definitely a steep hill. Talking more about the Ethan Vanacore-Decker acquisition, Darren Swatsky said that my version of the game is heavy metal football. I really like how Liverpool plays, which is sort of where that terminology came to be. He said, so I'm gonna pick out guys who attack players. Ethan Vanacore-Decker seems to fit that mold. Here's a shot off the mark. Renato Bustamante looking for his first goal of the season. He won't get it. Vignoles to Bentley. That one went off a hand. No ref was there to see it, though. It's one of those moments where just didn't have the angle to catch what happened. Just a tough break for Richmond. Partita plays it out wide to Jay. That's the interesting thing about the Central Valley side, too. You've got several veterans on this roster who have a wealthy amount of experience in professional soccer. And then you mix it with some of these young guys who have really stepped up, especially during this recent stretch where they've been missing a lot of those veteran players. Bit of an entanglement there. Works in Richmond's favor. It's still down to Sharif J. Looks like he's up and walking again. Stuart Ritchie now. Trying to get out wide. Can't get it past Casillas. Here's a look at the collision from a moment ago. Barnathan sticking his leg out, and Sharif J getting all too much of it. I get throw-in specialist Nathan Ani. Want to make this a goal-scoring opportunity from the get-go. That's a promise to it. Moran, a little too much on that header. Sailed over the heads of several teammates. Time for another red card stat to you. Just the 4th red card in the first half of this season. Here's Bustamante. Nice running pass. Jay still going forward. Loses the ball for just a moment. Squares it across. Here's the shot on target. Or nearly on target. That's David Diaz, the 18-year-old, who is really shined through these past few weeks for Central Valley. He's gotten the chance to prove himself, and he's done that. They are playing with an energy right now. Who can blame them? Martin Vasquez talked about that victory against Northern Colorado, and he said, we might look back on those 3 points and go, remember that game? That's where it all started. He said, now we have to be consistent, bring in the hard work every day. That certainly translated to this match. But he just felt that was one of those gritty wins, one of those make it happen games that could propel a team going forward. I'm sure he'd prefer it to be a little bit cleaner, a little bit prettier when they win games. But you take wins, especially if you prove some resilience. I'd say it's been a bit prettier today. First yellow card of the day for Central Valley. It's Michael Hornsby. Take a good look at him now. The German defender. Set pieces are a chance for it. When you're a man down, you can still make something happen. Service, dipping down, headed back across. Ani launching for it. Here's a second chance, and it trickles through. Dakota Barnathan slotting it home for the Kickers. And that's just what the Kickers needed going into the half. His first goal of the season. Former Tucson player Dakota Barnathan. Starting nod here, and this puts this one within reach for the Kickers. He gets it going with the head across goal, and it finds its way back to his feet, and he slides it home. How about that effort from Vignoles? And that may have come off a hand too from a Central Valley player, which only helped it spin right into spot for Dakota Barnathan. So, as you can see, 3 minutes of stoppage. Already had one of them transpire. If you want some confidence, that'll do it for you if you're Richmond. They've been able to push the ball forward. It's mainly been counterattacks since the second goal for Central Valley. This cross comes in, falls to the plate of Ethan Vanacore-Decker. The window closed quickly though. Here he is again. Tried to shoot. Richmond going for another before the half. They've got about a minute to do it. So the whistle will be blown here, rather late. Official Adrian Gonzalez waiting for the play to transpire before awarding the free kick for Central Valley. Just 30 seconds in the half to go. Hit 3 minutes. We'll try to throw in one last attack. Well, it was an eventful first half. 3 goals, 2 yellow cards to Stephen Payne. But this one's not out of the grasp for the visitors. Not yet with that late response goal. courtesy of Dakota Barnathan. For right now, it's certainly in favor of the home side, looking for a second straight win this season. Off the back of Victor Falk up against his former team. What a half of action for him. With that in mind, with some pregame festivities, Central Valley had some fun during the game as well. And we've got some fun at halftime coming up here for you on the other side. We're going to step aside for a break. Do not go away here on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
And the Republic trying to take down their rival. The legend has done it again here in Sacramento. He's turned the whole game around.
It's a goal for Orange County SC and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
Halftime here between Richmond and Central Valley. We just passed the halfway mark in the season last weekend, so Ryan Rose is going to take us through the highlights and some of the storylines from the 2022 League One season as it has happened so far.
Midway through the 2022 season, here are the goals and saves of the year so far. The first goal of the month, Rafa Minsigan crosses to Mo Espinoza. This is against Richmond. This got 45% of the fan vote. First goal of the season for Mo Espinoza. And early season good form for Chattanooga. The save of the month for April came for Greenville against Chattanooga. There's Paul Christensen. 85th minute, Greenville leading 1-0. The header from Rafa Minsigan and a left paw from Christensen. That kept it 1-0, and Greenville went on to win. That got 37% of the fan vote. Interesting. Here's the May goal of the month. It's against Tormenta. This is Central Valley. Look at the service there from Maxi Schenfeld, leading Viljan Bijev. 42nd minute, he gets a brace, his third brace across all competitions. Viljan Bijev, a second goal. That got 55% of the fan vote. He has 5 goals this season, but those braces include Open Cup as well. The save of the month was for Chattanooga. You see a theme here, Carlos Avilés against Greenville. Aaron Walker's header just chipped away, right over the bar. What fast reflexes from Carlos Avilés. 44% of the fan vote. Avilés has 22 saves this season. We go to the June goal of the month. What a shock. It's Chattanooga again. Mo Espinoza from the set piece. Wow. 81st minute. That was the first goal of the match at Fuego. They went on to win 2-0. 47% of the fan vote. By the way, Mo Espinoza, 2 goals of the month, 2 goals this year. The June save of the month is Fuego against Chattanooga, Ophick Antman. Check this out. Oh, they reaches to the right side. Christensen with the left paw, Antman with the right paw. 44 saves for Antman this season, but they did go on to lose that match. You saw why. One of those goals from O. Espinoza. Mid-year reinforcements. This is a theme. A lot of teams have grabbed guys here mid-year to help them out. Raiko Arozarena traded for Phil Brino from Tampa Bay, kind of traded, a double loan situation. 2 huge saves against Tormenta, and then the fans at the end in the flock asking him how to say his name. It was his first match. This was last weekend. Fun moment there. North Carolina, Shaq Adams, loaned down from Charleston, wasn't getting a lot of minutes, so North Carolina is going to bring him in, and he's going to play a lot. We have to go back a couple of years to when he played at Tucson to give you some footage on his impact. He's only played a couple matches so far for North Carolina. 12 goals in 40 matches played for Tucson, so a known quantity coming in to help North Carolina. Charlotte picked up Gabriel Oberton. Here's a guy who spent time in the Premier League, Newcastle United, Manchester United, Ligue 1 in France, Bordeaux, Wigan. He's back in Charlotte, played a little bit last year on the championship side, already has a goal and an assist, and will help Charlotte out. Tucson, Donnie Toya came in, made an immediate impact, some MLS experience, 4 different MLS sides. Toya was on the original 2012 Tucson team. 2 goals, which were the only 2 goals Tucson had scored in his 3 matches, both 1-1 draws. And then the latest maneuver, a loan from, kind of a trade from Northern Colorado to Richmond. It's Ethan Vanacore-Decker, 2020 All-League second team, 3 goals and 6 assists in 2020, led the league in assists. Richmond feels like he can come in, make an immediate impact. He was the first goal scorer for Northern Colorado this year. You can see a lot of things happening in the first half of the season, a big second half coming up.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Trying to take down their rival. The legend has done it again here in Sacramento. He's turned the whole game around.
It's a goal for Orange County SC and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
Welcome back to halftime here from Fresno. First off, we've already talked about Ethan Vanacore-Decker. He's played eventful first half. UC Santa Barbara, maybe a new rival for Central Valley, but the big one I want to highlight this Wednesday. For the first time since FC Cincinnati did it, we have got a USL team in the Open Cup semifinals. So, of course, we wish the best of luck to them. Tune in, cheer for them with all your heart, and maybe they can pull it off and take it to the finals as they look to maybe avenge Union Omaha in the process by knocking off Sporting Kansas City. Here's a look at our team of the week. Neither of these teams with any appearances, but worth noting, if you score 5 goals in a week of action, I think you're going to be player of the week. Jacob Lavovitz might as well just turned that one in himself and said, you know what, I'm player of the week with 5 goals. So impressive from his part. Nothing left really to say about that. And that puts them right up the top of the goals leader category with 10 goals on the season. Emiliano Terzaghi, of course, familiar with winning the Golden Boot, having done it these past 2 seasons. But like we said, he doesn't need to do it anymore, but I'm sure they'd love for him to score another 18 goals or so this season like he has done in the past. And although Richmond need all the firepower they can get, they are missing Bolaños. He's still in the lead, though, in the assist race with 7. He's been so good this season. Just can't quite play game in, game out. You see, he's got only 10 matches played, and he has 10 goal contributions on the season, whether they be assists or goals. He's been fantastic. He's been a fixture in the goal scoring. As we then take a look at the scores from around the league. Here we go. Crazy game over in Tucson. 2 scoreless games earlier in the day for Greenville, Omaha, Chattanooga, NoCo, Northern Colorado, and then those are the 6th and 7th scoreless draws of the season, by the way. And then Tormenta getting a win against a struggling North Carolina side. They thought they had an equalizing goal. Keziah Sterling turned right back around, took the lead right back for Tormenta. And coming up on Tuesday, the next time we'll see you in League One, it's a matchup between Omaha and Madison. A quick turnaround for the Owls, having just played today. Meanwhile, Madison getting the weekend off, preparing for this big match against Jamin's side. They haven't played since the beginning of the season. You see here Omaha donning, or you see Madison donning those Ukraine kits. But with that being said, that's the end of this halftime segment. We're going to step aside when we come back. Highlights, stats, and the second half here on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
trying to take down their rival. The legend has done it again here in Sacramento. He's turned the whole game around.
It's a goal for Orange County SC and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half, brought to you by El Mexicano, and boy did things happen in the first half. Starting here with the foul, the yellow card for Stephen Payne. That's unfortunate. Now it's really unfortunate because Victor Falk, with the opportunity to score against his former team, he takes advantage of the set piece, blasts a shot home off the crossbar. What's up with the crossbar on that side of the pitch for Central Valley? It's been dinged a couple times this year for goals. Now that yellow card earlier, even more unfortunate because Stephen Payne, in the span of 3 minutes, gets 2 yellows and gets sent home. Down a man for Richmond. 11 on 10 and down a goal. And it would only get worse from here. David Diaz with the cross. And Victor Falk again. A brace against his former team. What a way to show up against the Kickers. 2-0 your scoreline, up a player as well. Things are looking good for Central Valley, but before the half ends, Richmond provide a spark of hope. Dakota Barnathan heads this one across, keeps it in danger. Nil Vinyals with the effort, swings it back around, and then the man who started the service off the header. Able to tuck it home. Dakota Barnathan. Truly a gritty defensive player at heart, but I'm sure, just like any other player, when you get the chance to score a goal, it means a lot to you. And here's a look at the stats. So even though Richmond has been down a player for most of the half, have more shots and just one less on target than Central Valley. They've held possession, they've prodded forward, and we're underway here. Do the Kickers have what it takes to find another goal here? Get a point on the road, down a man, all the way across the country from where they sit in Richmond, Virginia. Or will Central Valley keep a hold of this one? Make it a second straight win. They want to start a run of good form here, and it's the kind of game that you got to get it done if you're Martin Vasquez's side. But it won't be a gimme, because this is a tough, gritty Richmond side. They aren't going to quit just because they're a man and a goal down. To possess the ball a little bit more, Central Valley. They did take a lot of pressure from Richmond, even once they had the man advantage, and we're thinking of just springing on the counterattack. But you're up a man. You don't have to absorb the pressure. You could pass smartly and be the ones bearing down on that Richmond defense. Keep them stuck on their own half. No halftime substitutions. They'll just be tactical changes for these two sides. Now Hornsby. I mean, here's the deal. If you're Darren Sawatsky, you went down a goal, and then once you see the red card, no matter what's happened since then, you're now down a goal again, which means the only goal you've conceded was when it was still even. It was a fantastic free kick, as this shot bounces to Akira Fitzgerald. Oh, look at that. William Bijev is subbed in. So I'll make a correction. Had a couple substitutions at halftime. William Bijev coming in for Jay. And then coming in as this shot gets scuffed. Escorted out by Ani. Marco Torralva comes out for Sam Strong, who was also just acquired this week. So we'll talk about that in a moment. These substitutions brought to you by Dos Equis. And we've got another red card. Nathan Ani's off. Oh my goodness. We're trying to take you through the substitutions, and we've already got a more drastic personnel change here. Nathan Ani is gone. This time a straight red. It is 9 on 11 here. Ani pleading his case. But the decision has been made by Adrian Gonzalez. What is happening in this game? Let's take a look at it again. So he gets the boot. His studs are up. I don't know. I mean, it's a reckless play. Certainly a yellow. He's late. He misses the ball entirely. I mean, it's a dangerous play. And as a ref, your number one priority is to maintain the safety of the game. They hadn't done anything up to this point, Nathan Ani, and I mean, just wow. Bijev zips the cross in, the header goes over the crossbar. think a couple of fans thought that went in. Sam Strong just getting subbed into the game. From Santa Barbara, California. Loaned out from Monterey Bay. This was also announced this week. And he almost got a goal in the opening moments of his tenure with the Fuego. I tell you what, I'm still trying to catch up on everything that just happened. Worth noting, Ethan Vanacore-Decker, the other acquisition from this past week, subbed out of the game for Chris Cole. All these substitutions brought to you by Dos Equis. It is now a two-man advantage for Central Valley. 2 quick yellow cards in the span of 3 minutes for Stephen Payne, and then the straight red here at the beginning of the second half for Nathan Awney. So that's the other thing that comes into play here. Surely at this point you think, well, barring absolute mayhem, maybe if Central Valley get reckless and get a player off, then this game is pretty much done for Richmond. But it's not just that now, because they have to play on Wednesday, and they're going to be without 2 players on their back line. Awney, Payne, unless they appeal and the red card after the fact is taken off and Awney can play, or Stephen Payne can play once they dub one of the yellow cards inappropriate. But I don't know. I don't think that, given what we have of those 2 and what we've seen in the past, that they're going to get taken off. Now's a quick look at Chris Cole. Played a lot last season for Richmond. His 6th appearance this year. Hornsby with the cross inside. Headed away by Cole. Was another striker for a defender substitution, and it happened before that second red card, but they definitely need it. You got to go up against the likes of Garrett McLaughlin and Olex Anderson on Wednesday on a short week. Travel across the country. And the way it stands now, be without 2 of your starting defensive players. It's tough for Richmond. Well, it'll be a chance for Richmond to show some depth. Talking to Darren Sawatsky this week, he said you want guys who fight for a spot every week. He said as a culture, you want to breed competition and respect for each other. He mentioned he learned just how important that is from Brian Schmetzer over with the Seattle Sounders, who, if you want to talk about culture on the MLS, then that's one of the first places you want to reference to. We're going to get 2 substitutions here. And oh boy, up 2 players, up a goal, and then bring in Christian Shaney and Alexis Cerritos. These substitutions brought to you by Dos Equis. And bring in your leading goal scorer and a guy that Martin Vasquez is so high on as a playmaking 10. And he'll come in for Jesus Partida. See the intentions of Martin Vasquez with these substitutions. Once again, brought to you by Dos Equis. Worth noting, Jesus Partida got a yellow card right before getting subbed off. Just to make sure all the things are in check and get all that housekeeping nice and tidy for you. One in inform you on all the goings of this game, and there have been goings. Definitely one of the stranger games we've seen this season, but we've seen a lot of them this season, so just another chapter in the 4th season of League One. Piggybacking off of what I said earlier from the competition side of things, Martin Vasquez had similar things to say about Central Valley as Ant-Man has now collected a yellow card. We're noting he's got 6 yellow cards this season. Definitely odd for a goalkeeper to have so many, but he's a vocal guy, Ant-Man. We've seen he's very animated too. Bryant, able to bring that one down. Now Vignoles. Going to get by 2 players, which Central Valley have the luxury of throwing at any guy on the ball. This one's flicked on by Bentley. Got a chance. That's the interesting thing here. I can sound all doom and gloom talking about the chances for Richmond. They're still only down a goal, so it just takes one crazy moment. I said in the first half, and I'll say it again, I'm not going to take anything off the table. I've seen too much action from this season to know that. Cerritos, still going with it. Victor Faulk. Back over to Cerritos. And he can pass it around all day. They've got so much room to do so. Here's another fact for you about this odd game. Diaz, the nice pass forward, well flicked on by Bijeb. Here they come again. The shot from Cerritos! And he curls it, top bins. It's a 2-goal advantage once again for Central Valley Fuego. And they will celebrate in front of the waving flags and the applauding fans. Nifty passing work from the home side. And a cherry on top from the finish from Alexis Cerritos. His first goal with the club. And he's going to get an embrace from everybody. Diaz, nice pass. Nice flick from Bijeb. Trickles back. And then Cerritos bangs it home. And look at that. They wanted to improve their home field form. 3 goals here in front of the home fans who, even if they're not in their typical cheering places behind the goal, they found out their way just fine as to who they wanted to go celebrate this goal with. That one nearly going on to goal for Richmond. Went straight down the middle to Ofek Antman, though. Villian Bijeb working on Moran. Cutting out some moves. That one will be cleared out. It could get ugly here. Fuego, foot still on the gas. Talking about Alexis Cerritos from Bowie, Maryland. Was acquired back in May. He's been around USL, playing for RGV, Orange County, Loudoun United. barely getting through with Cheney. He's their leading goal scorer with 5 on the season, tied with Villian Bijev. Check that. Bijev with 4 goals on the year. Now foul. Got Bijev running. He finds one, saved, put back inside. Cerritos looking for a second. And it's starting to come apart for the kickers. All the space. Eventually that's gonna break through, especially when you got as talented a side as Central Valley. Bijev, cross in the middle, headed away. Now Ozzy Ramos. Now Diego Casillas. Michael Hornsby. Swings in the cross. Just over the head of Christian Cheney, but they'll continue to pour it on. Casillas with the cross now. It's too high and off the mark. Now Chavez over to Hornsby. Oh, look, they went off the arm of Simon Fitch. It'll be out for an El Mexicano corner kick.
Fuego fans. Time for another El Mexicano corner kick. Make some noise!
I mentioned earlier, it was near 100 degrees when this game started. Fans came out anyway. They've been rewarded. It's also dipped down to about 10 degrees, so awarded in more ways than one. Of course, it's from 100 to 90, so it's still pretty hot. Cross in the middle. Strong was able to get his feet on it, but couldn't do much with it. Talking about the depth of this Fuego roster, Martin Vasquez says it's fun to watch the competition and the environment in training is amazing. He said they're all pushing each other. He also said we've also got some big guns offensively, including whoever we have on the bench, which is a great feeling as a coach. Kind of saw that displayed earlier when you're up a goal and then you get to sub in Alexis Cerritos and Christian Cheney along with Villian Bijev at the beginning of the half. And Sam Strong gets his first yellow card in League One play. Bijev with space to work with. In the center, Cerritos with the heavy touch. I think that was going for Cheney. Cheney knows it. Cerritos was making the run. Having the issue right now where they're passing to several open players. That's not really an indictment on Richmond. It's just you're down 2 players. You do the math. Several people are going to be open. Before the game started, I got the chance to talk a little bit about the goal percentage conversation, which I think is very interesting. Most teams, especially successful teams, have a well-dispersed goal percentage. That's not always the case, but I think it's the more common occurrence. I talked to Darren Sawatsky about my findings with those numbers, and he said that given this change, it's a little bit of everything. He said years in the past, we didn't have the firepower offensively, so Emiliano took it upon himself to take the chances. He says now he's got other guys who could score. And And he's grown in maturity and knowing that they can take those chances as that cross bounces to Bentley, one of those new faces who could score for Richmond. Darren said that he knows, talking about Emiliano Terzaghi, as this one falls over to Cerritos. That cross headed down. Cheney couldn't get the finish, wiping out. Darren Sawatsky mentioned that Emiliano Terzaghi knows teams want to stop him, so he's ready to lay it off to his teammates who now have better chances to score. Continuing on about the roster around Terzaghi on the offense. Darren said it took 3 years to get Bolaños going, but we've worked hard with him. Bentley has woken up. He also brought up the name David Olsen. So we haven't seen a ton of him this season, but he's the purest goal scorer on the team. So very happy with the different guys who can rip it into the back of the net for Richmond, and they've been able to create chances through this game. Of course, Dakota Barnathan, the guy I imagine you'd least expect to score in the starting lineup, is the one who did it. A hard-fought goal for him. I think, especially in this league, if you want to contend for a championship, yeah, you need some premier goal scorers, but you also need support from all around. Can't all be one man. Here's Cheney going forward, working on Cole. Now Victor Falk chips it up and headed back out. Here's a look from Cheney. Oh, that barely kept its way out. Great save from Fitzgerald. Second effort also kept out. Michael Hornsby. That one deflecting off of Simon Fitch. Here's a look at it again. Cheney is able to whip it back towards goal. But some good work from Akira Fitzgerald and his teammates on the back line. Be another El Mexicano corner kick. Bijev sends it inside. The header will go over top. Anything in the run again there was Sam Strong. So we're gonna get 3 substitutions for Richmond. There's a lot of high numbers there. So first, no Vinyals. Chandler O'Dwyer with his second appearance of the season. Then you got Vincenzo Candela in for Saka Moran. Be his 12th appearance of the season. And then I want to talk about Owain Gordon here in a second. So he also makes his way to the pitch. All these substitutions brought to you by Dos Equis. Candela tries to send the ball forward. Got some fresh legs to come in for Richmond, but Miljan Bijev making his way down the left-hand side. Bijev still going, it's pinged away. All the substitutions finished. I want to talk about Owain Gordon for a moment, getting subbed into this game. covered this league throughout the years, had the chance to talk to Darren Sawatzky throughout these seasons, and I brought up Owain Gordon, and my assessment of it was that this is a guy that almost seems like he was built in a Darren Sawatzky lab. He seems to check all the boxes that Sawatzky is looking for in a player, and I just kind of wanted to know what kind of person he was, so I asked Darren about him, and Darren just started gushing. Had so much nice things to say about Owain Gordon. He said, what a pleasant surprise he's been. He said, sometimes there can be a bit of a bad reputation for players from the Caribbean islands, but Owain Gordon has just been a guy. He's been a man. He mentioned that he's such a great teammate. He's so lucky that Richmond found him, and he's just a fantastic culture guy. As Diaz comes off, coming in, Jose Villarreal, just his second appearance of the season for Central Valley. This substitution brought to you by Dos Equis. Former MLS player, Jose Villarreal. If you watch that halftime piece about mid-season acquisitions and all the interesting moves that have been made, an interesting thing about this season is some of these veteran players from big leagues, so the MLS, for like Jose Villarreal, Luis Gil just got picked up by Union Omaha. And not even just that, but even players who used to play in the Premier League, Gabriel Oberton. This goes to show you how much this league has grown. That it has the capacity to house some of these players who are looking to get back on track or see out the end of their career, in the case of Oberton. So you can see the scoreline there with 10 minutes left to go. A lightning delay has put the audience in suspense. So if you're tuning in and watching this game, waiting for that one to resume, as Bryant looks to take the shot. Here's a volleyed effort. It zips over. That's the kind of thing Richmond would need. But if you're just tuning in, boy, have you missed out on some things that have happened here. So we look at the replay. Vincenzo Candela trying to let one rip. I don't think we'll ever be able to catch every single player that's on the pitch at the same time with our camera, but if you could, and you decided you wanted to count, you'd find that there is an alarming 2 players short on the pitch, and that's because, as you can see there on the graphic, Richmond is down 2 players. It has been a strange game. Stephen Payne getting 2 yellow cards in the span of about 3 minutes, the first of which gave Central Valley a set piece that would result in a Victor Falk goal, banging it off the crossbar. And then moments later, he'd have a late challenge that would give him his second yellow. The earliest red card of the season. And then Nathan Awney, 3 minutes into the second half, straight red with his challenge, studs up, late. And since then, Central Valley has been, as one would expect, flying. Here's Cerritos, got his first goal of the season earlier today. Owain Gordon making some moves, turning around. Needless to say, in case the explanation of what's happened wasn't enough for you, it's been a bit of an odd game. Candela, play that over to the left-hand side. Well held by Owain Gordon. Here's an opportunity. Chandler O'Dwyer back into the center. And that clearance from Chavez will be a corner kick for Richmond. Look Looking for Dakota Barnathan against 6'2". Also got Simon Fitch and Chris Kohler over 6 feet tall. Chandler O'Dwyer standing at 6'2" as well. Some big bodies that can push forward for Richmond. Ethan Bryant readying himself. That one over the head of everybody. Given how short-handed Richmond is, there's not exactly anyone over there to be on the receiving end of a long corner kick. You just have to hope for a good ball. You don't have that luxury. Someone on the other side to collect as we get another yellow card here. Our head official, Adrian Gonzalez. We'll let you know who that was shown to the moment we get it. The goal scorer for Richmond today, also the one who just received that yellow card and wearing the captain's armband after Ani was sent off. Barnathan's 4th yellow of the season. That one over the head of Chandler O'Dwyer. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Casillas. To Cheney. It'll be a free kick for Richmond here. Shenzo Candela hovering behind the ball. And I think this is their wise move here. Let Akira take this. Get everybody you can up the pitch. Bijev. Nice ball moving forward for Casillas. Casillas squaring across the middle. It's cleared away. They got to get it out. There's still numbers there. Casillas again. Casillas shoots, and it's off target. Couple of chances there for Central Valley to continue adding to their lead. There'll be another El Mexicano corner kick. Or will it be? Bijev already taken it over there. And Ozzy Ramos struggling to get back up on his feet. In a season where they have struggled to put the same 11 on the pitch week by week, Ozzy Ramos has been the one consistent person. It looks like he just got caught poorly on that challenge as both Ethan Bryant and him slid towards the ball. No ill will, just an unfortunate collision. Ramos has played and started every single game in Modesto, California. And he's a runner too. Ever present in every match. He's up and walking. Worth noting, they're all out of substitutions, so I gotta hope he's all right, or just go down a player, which still keeps them up a player, but of course, his well-being is the first priority. Now we'll get this El Mexicano corner kick. Bijev holding and waiting for the go-ahead. There's the whistle from our head official. And here's the service. Nodded away. Cerritos with a step. Cerritos with a shot, and it goes over. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Also like to point out earlier today, the USL W League had their final. It was over in Minnesota between Minnesota Aurora FC and Tormenta, the same Tormenta that you're familiar with here in League One, their W League side. Over 6,500 people in attendance in Minnesota, which is just fantastic. Final score ended up being, in extra time, 2-1 to Tormenta, winning the first ever W League title. It's also what the Tormenta men's team won by today. Of course, not as much stakes on that one, but a good day for Tormenta, so we send our congratulations, of course. League One, always happy to see a team with ties to a League One club hoist the trophy, but overall, just a great season in the inaugural year of the USLW League. A lot of excitement. And in the case of that final, some exciting play. I also believe there was a penalty save by Tormenta's keeper in extra time before the game-winning goal. So just overall, a gutty performance. Both of these teams' next objective, as far as games are concerned, take place on the East Coast. Neither of them are home games, even though Richmond is stationed over there. A Wednesday fixture against North Carolina FC, as Hornsby looks to play it towards goal. There'll be another El Mexicano corner kick. For Martin Vasquez's side, it'll be a Friday match over in Charlotte. I don't know if you guys remember when those teams played in Charlotte last time. That was a good one. William Bijev stealing a point at the death in a 3-3 game early in the season. Here he is with the service. Chandler Dwyer headed out. And I think anyone before about a week and a half ago would have said the most exciting game of the season. Of course, when you get a match with a 5-5 scoreline, that's gonna beg to differ. And a 3-3 game in its own right, absolutely chaotic. Cerritos weaving forward, strong. Looking for the pass, but wasn't able to get it back into the middle. talking about Sam Strong, Martin Vasquez mentioned that, look, Frankie or Francois Dulis may be out for a while. And our coaching staff and some of the players know Sam Strong pretty well. So I greenlit it. And Martin was happy that Nini Blanco could get it done. He said he's a real center back who handles business. He's got a lot of composure, which is a trait that Francois Dulis has. So trying to make up for something they lost. And on the Monterey Bay side of things, they wanted him to get playing time. He needed game time experience, and here he is, subbing in under a week from getting acquired. Similarly to Ethan Vanderpoort Decker, but not getting a start. Just talking about him. Getting up on his feet again, which is good news. We saw that Fresno FC shirt in the crowd earlier. Worth noting that Sam Strong played for Fresno FC back in 2018, which is where he made his pro debut, had 17 appearances for the side. So a bit of a full circle moment happening here for Sam Strong. Bijev playing it across the face. CS's cross, a little too much air under it. Now Hornsby. That spinning ball will go into the hands of Akira Fitzgerald. Of course, one of the mainstays of USL League One since its inception. Now Wayne Gordon. Bryant. Clearance comes back to Fitch. Fitch with the cross. The header goes up, but ultimately nothing much to come of it. Got a player down, Diego Casillas. That'll be another thing Central Valley needs to be focusing on, is trying to get out of this game healthy. And although Richmond down 2 goals and down 2 players, that is also always of importance too. Especially since they've got a quick turnaround. Came on Wednesday. Oh, yeah, look, these two guys clocking heads. Let's take a look at it again on the replay. That is never comfortable. Ant-Man getting a talk to with Alexis Cerritos. Mentioned it earlier. We have some vocal goalkeepers across the USL League One. Ofik Ant-Man may be the most expressive communicator. You can always tell his mood. And more importantly, you can always tell when he's frustrated with something. But hey, he's made it work. He's been fantastic all season. 5 clean sheets on the year. Puts him in 3rd place as of right now. I mean, the competition is guys like Rashid Nuhu and Paul Christensen, who have the benefit of very stingy defenses in front of them. Not to take too much away from them, but it certainly helps. And they had a 0-0 draw earlier today, so case in point. hit 90 minutes. See how much out of time we get here. We've had quite a bit of stoppages here in the second half, but it'll be 4 minutes, the decided number. I'll send everyone up for this set piece. Of course, time running out for Richmond. They need 2 goals to rob a point here on the road. That's a way to get rid of the ball. Once again, still waiting on action to resume between Tucson and Charlotte. Could end up being a thrilling finale to that one. Such a big game for the two of them. I don't think either of them would be happy with the draw. Candela bounces this one inside. Ethan Bryant now. Guarded by a bevy of players. Rolling effort goes to Antman. He doesn't even need to use his hands there. Takes it like a pass. Candela there, the push behind on Cerritos. Candela will get a yellow card, his 3rd of the season. Cerritos, who has struggled to stay healthy, that's something you wince to see from the perspective of Central Valley. Kind of gets clobbered into by Candela. The Colombian American, will go into the books. So for Central Valley, this is what they were looking for. 2nd straight win, looking to get on a run here. So mission accomplished in that front. For Richmond, I feel like this is one that you look at and go, this is one to forget about. At least until you have to play Central Valley again, then you can muster up some of the negative feelings you felt in this game and try to channel it constructively. But ultimately, the way this game went was some misfortune, some poor decisions, and happening in a bad batch, and at that point the scales are so skewed against you that it's just tough. As Bijev split some defenders with that shot, Akira Fitzgerald ready for it. Ramos will play this over to Casillas. There's your final whistle. A way to start the second half of the season for Central Valley. A bit of a night to forget for the Richmond Kickers. Once again, the Fuego launching up the standings. This time they'll see if they can sit on it a little bit longer. 3-1 your final score. With some help from Victor Fout going up against his former team and showing up. We're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up nicely on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
We're back here for closing thoughts here between the Richmond Kickers and Central Valley Fuego. Some conversation between Darren Sawatsky and Martin Vasquez. Talking after the game, bit of a strange affair to say the least, so let's take a look at the highlights to wrap things up here. These highlights brought to you by El Mexicano. Starting in the 16th minute, Stephen Payne, yellow card, taking down David Diaz, and oh no, you've taken a yellow. End up being rather consequential in more ways than one. The ensuing free kick taken by former kicker Victor Falk, striking it home, and then just 2 minutes later, Stephen Payne, a second yellow card offense against the same player in David Diaz. Out of the game, and at that point, it is dangerous for the Richmond Kickers moving forward. And Victor Falk getting this header here. 2 times that both him and Sharif J were closely associated to a goal together in this match. Both of them ended up being attributed to Victor Falk, though. Before halftime ended, there was a glimmer of hope for the Richmond Kickers. Dakota Barnathan sliding this one through, making it 2-1 before the half. And going to break, make some adjustments, give an impassioned speech in the locker room, and come back out fighting with a purpose. And then this happens 3 minutes into the second half. Nathan Ani crashing in, studs up, hits the feet of Michael Hornsby. He implores that it was below the knee. I mean, it hit the foot, but it was late, studs up. Ref decided that was enough to warrant a straight red. And from there, it's just tough sailing for the Richmond Kickers, especially when passes like this are being made by Central Valley. And Alexis Cerritos is curling in a shot like that. That makes it 3-1 on the night. And from there on out, pretty much smooth sailing for the home side. As we look at your full-time stats, worth noting, Victor Falk with 3 goals this season and 3 assists on the year now. He leads the team in that category in assists, that is. So he had 2 goals in the game, 4 goals total on the season. 2 goals, 1 assist. Just putting the clinic on for his former team. He's had quite the night here against the Richmond Kickers, and it was quite a night for the Central Valley Fuego as they look to play next Friday. As we look at the scores from across the league today, Tucson and Charlotte still waiting for the go-ahead to finish their match. So if you're watching this one, you want to catch the tail end of that game, I encourage you to do so. Could end up being a wild finish, especially while they're waiting. Now, this is how the standings sit at this moment. If neither of those teams score in that game, this is how the standings would look. Both of those teams, the Independents and Tucson, could really benefit from getting 3 points. Meanwhile, Central Valley sitting in 4th place, just below South Georgia Tormenta, who also got a win today. A lot going on. Compact table. It's League One. What else do you want? And with that being said, that's the end of this broadcast tonight. Again, I implore you to go check out the ending of that game if you're looking to stay up. But for our broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schoenster saying thank you for tuning into this game. We'll see you next time on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.